Climate change is causing major displacements of public expenditures all across Africa. Monies that should be used to boost investment in growth-enhancing infrastructure and energy or education and job creation for the youth are now being diverted to cope with the effects of climate change. Sub-Saharan Africa will need between $14 to $17 billion per year, according to the World Bank, for adaptation for the period of 2010 through 2050. African countries need help quickly to address climate change. Urgent measures are needed to reverse and avoid rising climate-induced public expenditure displacements all across our continent. Africa alone cannot carry the burden of adapting to climate change. There must be global climate justice for Africa, and I totally agree with President Hollande on this. Africa has developed an effective mechanism, the Africa Risk Capacity Insurance, to help countries to cope with extreme weather events through insurance for catastrophic events. But the insurance premiums are not cheap, and this has continued to discourage African countries from insuring themselves against rising catastrophic risks. What is needed now, Your Excellencies, is support to assist African countries in meeting the insurance premium costs. Here is the solution. We would like to call on the global finance facilities, the Green Climate Fund, and the Global Environment Facility to pay for the insurance premiums for African countries to the Africa Risk Capacity Agency. Your Majesty, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this bold action will insure Africa. It will reduce climate-induced displacements of public expenditures in Africa. Words of comfort are not enough to pay Africa's rising bills for adapting to climate change. I urge Your Majesty and Your Excellencies, our President, to support this call for action. And I thank you very much.
Africa has a tremendous potential to be a global renewable energy leader. This continent has vast solar, wind, and geothermal energy resources. The Africa Renewable Energy Initiative will advance this immense potential. It can help boost Africa's installed renewable energy capacity by 10 gigawatts by 2020. Just a decade later, the increase will be exponentially higher, with an increase of 300 gigawatts. I call on partners from both developed and developing countries to scale up investment and technical assistance. We have to ensure that policy incentives align with a temperature rise pathway that is well below 2 degrees. The Paris Agreement and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development can open important business and investment opportunities for Africa. I encourage you to seize these opportunities, collaborate with more parties, and build the clean energy economies of tomorrow today. Your Majesty, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, throughout my tenure as a Secretary General, I have depended on many partners from Africa, government officials, expert scientists, corporate executives, and grassroots activists. At our 2014 Climate Summit in New York, one Ugandan activist, Sylvia Atugonza Capellum, said, I quote, "Climate change is a survival issue, not a question of negotiations," unquote. The time for talk is over. I call on all African leaders and peoples and partners around the world to rise to this moment. The United Nations stands with you in building a safer and more sustainable future. Thank you for your leadership and strong commitment. Thank you very much. Merci.
Centrale, une troisième pour les États insulaires, à savoir les îles. Si vous n'y voyez pas d'inconvénient, bien entendu.
En faveur de la coémergence de l'Afrique et en relevant la pertinence d'unir la voix du continent pour mieux défendre ses intérêts. Nous lançons un appel à nos partenaires stratégiques pour renforcer notre coopération.
إن هذا اللقاء الهام يعطينا فرصة أخرى لتنمية العلاقات الإفريقية العربية.
Tous les Africains à l'électricité. 700 millions en sont aujourd'hui privés. Et il y a urgence aussi à agir pour l'agriculture, pour l'accès à l'eau, pour la formation et donc pour l'emploi. Je rappelle que le sort de l'Afrique, c'est aussi le sort de l'Europe, tant nos deux continents sont liés l'un à l'autre. Le développement de l'un, c'est la croissance de l'autre. La sécurité de l'Afrique, c'est la
Je vous remercie, on dira qu'il est adopté par acclamation, même si ce n'est pas debout. Je vous remercie, Excellence, chers collègues, Monsieur le Président Ernest Bai-Koroma. À présent, j'ai 3 autres demandes d'intervention.
Imitar los gases como los que proceden del gas natural.
Hollande, président de la République française, à prendre la parole.
Non, vas-y, non, non, pas de...
We are keen to implement our national determined contributions, but now face the problem of lack of technology, finance, capacity building, and hope that we will see more action coming from the strategies and the positions that have been developed from the 3 groups in which Liberia has actively participated. The 3 negotiating blocs, which are the least developed countries, the Africa group, the group of 77, plus China. If we are going to be able to tackle this, one particularly those countries that have the potential to make a major distribution to the reduction of emission from deforestation and forest degradation, we would need to ensure that timely action, in fact, urgent action, is taken to provide the support, for we are losing significant resources by conservation that we know are necessary, but that will give us difficulty to maintain unless these support are forthcoming. So we can only urge that all of our partners, quickly as possible, take those action that will enable us to achieve some of the goals that have been set to be able to meet the goals that we have set in the Paris Agreement, as well as that of the declaration that was just adopted at COP22. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Je vous remercie.